Hello everyone, my name's Dean. Let's talk crypto. This is where you subscribe for daily Bitcoin updates and technical analysis. We track the price of Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency markets at large. Today is January 4th, 2022, and I'm coming to you again for the Tuesday live stream. Welcome one and all. Alright, I'm on the 5-minute chart because I'm looking to see whether or not Bitcoin will bounce. That's the topic for today, right? What is Bitcoin doing? Has it bottomed out? Okay, and interestingly enough, just as we started the stream, we see that we are indeed getting a reversal. Okay, it's small time frame, but it's significant. And it's significant because what preceded it was a 5-wave impulse, a small one, albeit, but a significant one, followed by an ABCDE triangle correction. And now, so the ABCDE triangle correction was here, right? This is your ABCDE triangle correction, and this is your zigzag out. And this is what I'm anticipating we're going to get, okay? So that's why I'm on the 5-minute chart. That's why I'm tracking this closely. And if we zoom out just a little bit, actually let's zoom out onto the hourly. Zooming out onto the hourly, I think it's quite clear we're at range bottom. So we're at multiple range bottoms actually. So here we have a range, right? And we effectively hit the bottom of this range. Okay, so there's support there, and we've been bouncing there for quite some time, since, let's see, for about a week we've been in this range. So we're bouncing in and out of this range. Okay, and if we do my little sort of my little trick using initial impulses, so let's go back on the 5-minute chart real quick. All right, and I have a little trick for those of you who are subscribed. You probably already know. Taking the first impulse of, taking the first wave of an impulse, and then doing the extension, using the extension tool with the retrace of this impulse, and then finding where the 2236 is yields the average distance traveled of that impulse. If you don't know that trick, that's something I've found through just hours and hours and hours of looking at charts and examining them, and you'll see that the 2236 ends at range high. So we're at range high there. Oh, look, it looks like we're breaking down somewhat. Let's see. Maybe not. We'll go and check it in a second. But yeah, I do anticipate us coming up to range high. So at the very least, testing the top of this range at about 47.9, right? At the very least. So if we zoom out, and we're still on the 5-minute chart, but if we zoom out, we'll see that. Here, let's do this. Oh, we haven't broken down really. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it still looks like we're reversing. That wasn't a legitimate breakdown. A legitimate breakdown would have been really losing this level past the 1236. So if we took our fib, it's not a breakdown until you pass the 1236 in my estimation for an ABC correction. So we kind of wicked into the 1236, and you can, no, it's not a breakdown until you lose the 1618 technically, right? You can come within this region, but if we, on this chart, if we breach 45,780, then that's a breakdown. I expect us to come down here and do something else. But until then, I think that this is going to yield in a reversal, and actually a quite strong reversal. During this stream, I anticipate we'll see this because these were 5 waves up. That was an impulse. This is your A, B, C, D, E sort of triangle correction. This is your A, B, C, and that's going to be your third wave. If this was your first wave, this is going to be your third wave. So it's going to be, if this is indeed a reversal, right? This is going to be relatively impulsive and strong, and it's going to go high. So yeah, so we'll see. It's really cool that it's happening during the stream, so we can spectate together. All right, going back to what I was talking about, where I expect this to go. Let's go back on the hourly. Okay, so top of the range at least, right? Here. Anticipate that we come at least here, but then zooming out even more on the 4-hourly, we can see that there's even a larger range that we've been trading in. And so I think this, so here's what I'm seeing. Maybe this is wishful thinking, but I'm going to get to why I believe this is the case. But first, let me share what I think is going to happen, because a lot of you guys want to know. Here's what I think. We're going to do something like this. The first wave is going to hit right there. The first wave, we're talking degrees here, obviously, right? I just mentioned a first wave, but that's the first of 5, which, it's all fractals. So you need 5 waves to make that first wave. That's where I think the first wave is going to hit. Retrace 2. 3 is going to come up here. 4. And we're going to hit 5, maybe at the top here, right? And then that's going to be the first wave. These 5 are going to make up the first wave. We're going to get rejected at the top here, but not rejected all the way down, but just slightly rejected, and then go for the third wave up. Okay, and now let's do that's just a little thought experiment, right? Let's see if what would happen if we did our little trend-based extension trick, or I don't know what you call that technique, with this purported wave that I anticipate we get. Let's say this is accurate, okay? And then let's say the wave 2 bounces off somewhere here, okay? Where would the 2236 be? Way too damn high. Because if you're subscribed to the channel, you'll know I don't foresee us breaching the 58K level, right? Because that would be the 1618 of this first wave here. That would be the 1618 of this first wave. The 618. And you know that wave 2 cannot breach the 618. It can wick above, but can't breach it. So that kind of throws a bit of cold water on that idea. Maybe the wave count's gonna be different, but I do anticipate, and I'm gonna get into why precisely. I do anticipate that we see quite a lot of upwards price action from here. And so I'm going to get into that in just a second. But first, I'm going to check who's here. Hey, Gerald. Hey, Rich. Welcome to the States, Rich. JHUI, Lake. Welcome, everyone. All right. So I'm going to look at why I think that this is a bottom, okay, and let's go back on the small time frame. We may be breaking out. Okay, positive price action, that's good, meaning we're not breaking down. So eventually that will lead to a third wave, okay? I think we're gonna get a third wave here, and that would be the first, by the way. And that is a legitimate first wave because wave 2 did not retrace beyond the 618. Yep, we just wicked into it. And that, according to my research, I follow these fib violations, that I call them. Anything past halfway, right, according to GAN, would be taking the level, but I also use percentages. So I track. So this is a two-wave, quote-unquote, violation of 0.12%. Hi, Steve. Hi, Osman. I see that on average, anything below 0.15% is okay. So that's something I've noticed in my research. All right, so let's go back to larger time frame. And I'm going to explain why exactly I think that the play is long here, and why maybe tomorrow morning we can find Bitcoin somewhere up here. Somewhere up here. I mean, maybe that's a bit of a stretch, but who knows? That may just be a sort of realistic. So, my count on this whole range has been challenging, but the previous one that I did was slightly off, and I'm going to show you where it was slightly off, okay, and how I figured out that it was slightly off, okay. It's not just my opinion. Obviously, everything's opinion, but I have some evidence. So that's an A. That has always been an A. That's easy, right? You get your B, and your B is all of this, okay? Your B wave is basically a diagonal that's counter trend. The trend is up, right? Because we just dropped down very, very, very violently. It was a violent impulse downwards, okay? So now it's a corrective wave and the trend is up. So A is with trend, B is counter trend, okay? So that's B. And now from here, I'm going to draw my B's a little better. C starts here. I know that C starts here because I've got a level here, right? I've got a level where there's support, and this downtrend of B stopped, and it found support twice. Price found support twice here, signifying that whatever this is, we're no longer in this trend. We're no longer in this downtrend here. And that leads me to believe that this is the beginning of A, right? And it looks like A of C, okay? When I say C, it's obviously, we all know that C has to be fully impulsive, okay? C waves are 5 waves up. If you know anything about Elliott wave principles, when I say C, I'm kind of talking about a C section, okay? That's going to eventually yield a 5 wave impulse, like pure 5-wave impulse, okay? So you did get kind of 5 waves up here, but it was a small one, and it led to a larger A wave. This is clearly an A wave, right? It goes A, B, C. It's in 3 parts. So that's an A wave, right? And this, just for clarity's sake, is a C section, as I call it. I don't know what other people call it, but this is just what I call it, a C section, right? Because you have A and you have B, C section, right? So A of C, B of C, I labeled previously this. Okay? And C of C, which is, let's zoom in a little bit, this section that we've been in for the past week. This is the last section right here. I believe this to be C of C, right? It's a range, a new range, okay? Previous to that range being formed, we were playing up here and coming down here, right? So this is A of C, this is B of C. This is the consolidation before the big push. That's one of the main reasons I believe that we can expect, sorry, let me just clean it up a little bit. Okay, this is one of the main reasons I think we can expect some upwards price action. Also, just common sense, right? If you look at this range, I mean, it's clear that this is the, it's clear that this is the bottom and this is the top, right? Anybody can show you that. Anybody can tell you that. It's quite obvious. And so when you're at the bottom, what happens? You just make way. I'm going to erase all this just to make it clean. When you're at the bottom, it's clear that you then find your way to the top. You did that here. Bottom, go to the top. Here. Bottom, you go up. Okay, you didn't go all the way to the top, but every time you found your way to the bottom of the range, you went to the top. Here, you didn't go all the way to the top. You went up a little bit, up a little bit, up a little bit. So even at the very least, let's say I'm completely wrong and we're not going to get the larger reversal, right? At the very least, what we're going to get, that's, likely, probabilistically, is a move to the top of this range, right? It's either that or a complete breakdown of this range. And what do we know about ranges is that breaking out of them occurs violently. So let's say this were to happen, okay? Let's say we were to break out of this range. It would be violent. And it would take us, usually what happens is you go the height of the range. You travel the height of the range. So that would take us effectively down to the bottom about 41.6, right? Around here. Which wouldn't really make much sense, right? Like looking at price action, I know a lot of you guys who follow this channel, you're passionate about charting and looking at price action. When's the last time you see a range form for so long and then a breakdown after you traveled in, you came into the range from the bottom? Usually what you see is actually the opposite. You see something like this, right? Seldom ever do you see something like this. Okay, so it's just so foreign. The one time you do see this actually is in wave 4. Okay, on a downtrend. Those suck because they're usually so tricky. And you're like, ooh, I caught the bottom. We're going back up, and it comes down. Okay, that's the only time I see that. But I don't believe that we're in a fourth wave. Okay, because for a lot of reasons. And we counted 5 waves down here. And it's not even the time that we've been in this isn't consistent with the price action in this wave. So it would be highly unlikely. So anyway, that's not even on the table. Well, I'm sure it's on the table. Everything is on the table. Technically, everything's on the table at all times. However, it's unlikely. It's statistically, probabilistically, very unlikely that occur. Okay, and it's a lot more likely that we get a move up. Okay, and this is why I believe we're going to bounce. That's one of the reasons we're going to bounce. But why am I saying that we're going to bounce and target our 58K finally? Here is because of what I just said. You have the culmination of all of these patterns. What makes this a no trade zone for most traders is that it's quote unquote chop. And I used to have, those of you who are subscribed will know, I used to have a rule. I used to say, this is a no trade zone. I am playing defense. I am not trading. This is where I lose money. Statistically, that's where I lost money. But I've gotten better. You know, I've gotten better. I've gotten the ability. I've developed the ability to read a lot of these patterns. Not perfectly, not 100%, but I'm making a decent amount. Like last I checked, in the last 16 trades I've taken, I went 12 for 16 with no major losses. Meaning, you know, it doesn't matter if you go 12 for 16 and you have one big loss and blow up your account, and it neutralizes all your wins. No big losses. So, you know, me of old could not do that, right? And one of the reasons I can do that is because I'm looking at these patterns. I'm identifying these as A, and okay, after A you get B, and then and the whole idea of linking corrections is a little more clear to me. I wasn't very clear on that concept before. Anyway, I digress. This, if we want to focus on this, I'm going to show you why I think that this C of C region, as I call it, is primed for reversal. And what we just printed here is the C wave, the impulsive C wave that we've been waiting for. It's for me, this is pure impulse. No A, B, then C, right? Because that's what we've been doing for the past month. A, B, and then C. And then within C, you're going to get a part impulse, and then after you get a B wave, and then another C wave, and basically that's a big A. We don't get that here. I think this is going to be pure impulse, and now I'll show you why. Here's why. And here's where I was a bit wrong. I did not read it properly, okay? I've been telling you all for the past few days that I'm reading this region right here in the following way. 3 waves. A. I said this was a B. 3 waves. And then this was some sort of C that merged into an A, okay? And then it kept going. This is wrong, and I'll tell you why, okay? I figured that out here because I didn't expect this move. And if you watched my analysis this morning, I thought that this was my C wave and that I was going to get a pump from here, because I saw this as being an initial diagonal, basically the one wave, right, for what I think this is, right? And here's why that was wrong and why this was just a B wave, okay? I think I lost just a couple dollars. I'm so much better than I was before at taking small losses. I took a very small loss because I was willing to sell into a loss. And then I quickly changed my position and I made the money back. I'm proud of myself for that. Anyway, because, I would not have done that before and I would have probably taken a big loss. But I'm getting better. Anyway, that's wrong. What do I think is the proper count here? And again, let me just reiterate, counting corrections is not simple. It takes practice, and I think even if you decide not to trade these zones, you should practice it because it will help you identify breakouts for when you do want to trade, okay? If you seek to only trade impulses and impulsive price action. Okay, so what I think is the proper count, A, the proper read. Sorry. This is A. Okay, let me go on the smaller time frame. So here we go. So here's my revised reading of this. And I think this makes a lot more sense. This is A, right? This is B. Right here. And this is C of let's see. No, that's not it. That's not it. This is a sorry, I'm just trying to remember what I read this morning. It made so much sense this morning. This is clearly no. This is still a B. This is C of B. Okay. This is still a B, and then that C was the beginning of A. Okay, so that was right actually. What was wrong was when I came here. Okay, here it is. This would be B. I labeled that as being B, except for that can't be B. This has to be B. All of this. That has to be B. And then here we get C into another A, B, sorry. A, B, and then this, what we just got, is the impulse. Okay, I know this is a bit confusing, and this is why this is a no trade zone for most people, because this stuff is really complex, and if you're relying on this to win your trade, your probabilities of winning your trade go down quite substantially with just one little mistake. Essentially, what I noticed this morning that I did incorrectly was that I labeled this a C when this is a B, okay? And for this to be a B, essentially, then this needs to be a C, and I didn't foresee this. This needs to be a C, and it's purely impulsive, and you can see that. Let's zoom in. You see that there's just 5 pure waves in here. And so that is a that's the C of this whole B. Okay, so this whole thing is a B. Let's just say this whole thing is a B. This is A of B, this is B of B, and this is C of B. And that's it. That is it. That is the end of the correction. If this respects the 1618 and this kind of keeps its level, okay? Well, even if it doesn't respect the 1618, or the 618 rather, it could be the fact that we got this impulse here leads me to believe that these are our 5 waves coming, okay? And not some A wave that's going to turn into another correction. So that's what I'm seeing. And yeah, like I said, this was the main reason was that this C wave made me rethink my entire account, and that I had to treat this right here as a B wave. Okay? I had to do it because it didn't make sense that, or rather, this right here, this middle one as a B wave. Okay, this middle one as a B wave. Or else this didn't make sense. So that's basically what I'm seeing. And if you kind of backtrack from that, then this right here is A, and this whole thing was a B, right? And this is kind of an impulsive portion. That's the C, and then you get back into the pattern of linking corrective waves, right? But anyway, count aside, what a lot of people do is just trade the tops and the bottom of the range. Okay, we're at the bottom, we're going to the top. We're at the top, we're probably migrating to the bottom. The power of Elliott wave theory allows you to more precisely, when seeing 3 waves of a correction, right? And that's like the initial move of a trend. You know that's an A wave. You know that you're going to get a B wave, and then you know you can measure that to an approximate fib line of that A wave. So you knew after this, if this is an A wave, that this was going to come down to at least, you know, the 0.5 of this whole move, right? Because that's a B wave of this A wave. And then from that, you're going to get an impulse, and you got an impulse, but that turned into an another correction, right? So that's basically what I'm seeing, and this is why I believe we are pretty much done with the chain of corrections, especially since we've gotten that impulse that we don't typically get, right? Has this violated now? My question is, has this violated the 618? Is this no longer a 2-wave? Yeah, it's no longer a 2-wave. This is now officially an AB right here. And so let's see, maybe this C wave gives us our 5 waves. But I was under the impression that this was going to hold here, the 618, but it didn't, which is okay. I still think that we're going to get explosive price action just because of what came prior. All right, let's jump in and see. Osman, yeah, right? Yeah, it looks like, you know, it's frustrating, and I think the collective sentiment is that exactly, that, you know, people are just fed up with the downward price action, and, you know, they're looking for pump. It's just very, very frustrating, not just in Bitcoin, but in other assets, right? So yeah, that's Bitcoin, and this is why I think that, you know, the move is to go long. Not financial advice, but I think, you know, just balance of probability. It makes sense to go long from here. All right, now let's have a look at VRA. It was mentioned, you know, somebody wanted to look at VRA. So let's jump on the 4-hourly time frame. And like Bitcoin, we've been in this range, a trading range. Okay, and you have your A wave, and you have this long B wave, just like in Bitcoin, and then a B wave stops over here. You've got an actually stops over here. You've got an A wave, got a B wave. Actually, it's even more simple in VRA. A wave, B wave. I'm expecting a C wave. And that's it, right? So I think, you know, in VRA, we're also at the bottom, right? We're at range low, you know, short of breaking this range to the downside. We have nowhere else to go but up. So I can see VRA reversing course. And as I said before, my target for VRA is still near the 618 of this drop, which is about 5.4 cents. So if you take our fib retracement tool from the top of this range to the, or from the top of the drop, the impulsive drop to the bottom, you see that the 618 is around 5.4 cents. So that's what I'm seeing with VRA. Okay. So if there are no further questions, I'm gonna end the stream. And yeah, let's just see what happens. But likely, we get reversal because we are on the bottom. And every other time we've been on the bottom of this range, it's gone up. So this is what I'm seeing. And I just looking at all of these corrective patterns, it just looks like this is it, right? This is your pivot. That's, if that's your A, that's your B. All of this is your pivot into C. Okay, and it's tough because how many ABC corrections are necessary before reversing? I don't know, right? I don't know, right? You could have said that this one, this right here, just zoom in really quickly. It's the last thing, last point. One could have said that this A, this B was it, and then you get your 5 waves, but apparently it doesn't work that way. You would get an A, B, then one would have said that this would have taken you up, right? But maybe that this A and this B is like this. And then this is simply A, B, C. Okay? So that's basically what I'm seeing. Yeah, of course. No, you're welcome, Osman. Steve, yeah, let me have a look at Link. Link is interesting because it broke out. I believe it did. It was up quite a bit. Let's see. So on the 4-hourly chart, Link is different because it's at range high already. Okay? And that's another reason I think that the breakout is imminent. Because here in Link, you know, you have the same thing. You had your A wave, you had your B wave. That was kind of a series of, here, let's see, let's make this cleaner. So definitely A wave, and then your B wave, let's see. Your B wave's all this. So your B wave's counter trend. I think this is simply the B wave right there. And then your pivot. And this is what's been confusing. The pivot, right? To change direction, you need pivots. So that's, let's zoom in. Hourly time frame. Oops. That's A of the pivot. That's B of the pivot. That's B of the pivot. So this is A of the pivot. That's B of the pivot. It's these three, right? That's what I'm seeing. And now you go into what I think we're at in Bitcoin. Here's where I think we're at in Bitcoin. I'm just going to erase this because I like clean charts. Hold on. and go back into the, let's go into the 15-minute chart. Let me go to where I think we're at in Bitcoin. So just looking at the link chart, looks to me, so let me just redraw that just to make sure we're situated. That's A of the pivot, that's B of the pivot. Here's where I think we're at Bitcoin. That's that pattern, that sort of that ABC pattern that leads us into an impulse, right? And I don't think this one respected the 618 either. Let's see. Yeah, total violation of the 618. Sorry. Damn magnets. All right, let's see. It's debatable. It's debatable. You can say it did. You can say it did. In any case, I do believe that this is where we're at in Bitcoin today. So Link is front running the market. And from that, you got, you know, all this. And what's interesting about this to me is that, okay, so yeah, that's what, okay, let's zoom out. This is really interesting. This is really interesting. Let's zoom out on the hourly time frame. So what happened after that? So you get your pivot and you get your breakout, but this is nothing but a big A wave. Because here you have, you know, that's inconsistent with a regular 5-wave impulse, okay? So you still get, you made your way to the top of the range, which is great, but it wasn't a clean impulse. This is essentially an A wave. And this was a B wave. No, that wasn't how the B waves formed. This is A, this is B, right there. So you essentially got to the top of the range and came back all the way down to the bottom. So I would say Bitcoin isn't here exactly, right? It is in the sense that I believe that we're going to test the top of the range, but I don't foresee us doing this same thing in Bitcoin. And what do I mean by that? I don't see us doing this retrace all the way back down. I do believe that we're going to get rejected at the top, but that rejection is going to form a 2-wave. I could be wrong though, but I believe that we've gotten rejected from the top of the range already twice in Bitcoin, and in Link, this rejection happened twice as well. And after that, you got your pivot. So if anything, okay, I think we're here in Bitcoin today, because what I think is going to happen with this is, see here you get your 5 waves up, and you're going to get your 3 waves down for your 2 wave, and I think that is going to then breach the upper limit. So I think we're here in Bitcoin today. We've gotten 2 rejections from the top, and we're at the range bottom, and we're going to get an impulse to the top, 5 waves up to the top, and then get rejected from the top, do our 2 wave, and go up. So that's what I'm seeing. And let's see if Link is indeed, if that was indeed a 5-wave impulse from Link. Let's just clean this up really quickly. Let's see. I mean, it looks clean to me. I don't see any B waves in here. This looks like pure impulsive price action, right? Like there are no retracements that would lead you to believe that, the retracement is beyond the 618. So I think this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is right here, an ending diagonal. This, I'm seeing an ending diagonal. This is the end of the 5th wave. This is an A, B, C I'm seeing, right? That's your 3 waves. So I think this is a first wave for Link. And so let's just thought experiment. Let's say that was correct. Link is in its first wave, right? Or it's in its second wave, technically. So let's say this was the top right here. Okay. Let's say we do a retracement of, let's just do the full retracement of 618. Okay, and now let's take our Fibonacci extension tool and see if this were indeed the case. Let's say we do a 0.5. Let's just, middle. Not 382, not 618, 0.5. Let's go to the 2236. That would put us at $32. Okay. Let's zoom out. $32 would be, let's see, from the top of this drop, which would be about here, to the bottom, that would be a bit above. $32 would be the 786. Okay, so that's like my little trick, right? If this were indeed a first wave of Link, I believe that we will have a truncated 3rd wave. I'm not exactly sure what we're going to get, to be honest with you. Because if this looks like a downtrend to me, right? An impulsive downtrend. If that's true, then we shouldn't be able to cross the 618. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing in Link. I'm not exactly sure how the wave count will go, but let me see. Yeah, this looks like a legit impulsive wave. So maybe a truncated 3rd, a 4th, and then a 5th. An extended 1st. Maybe, right? Extended 1st, the 3rd wave doesn't have to be the longest, it just can't be the shortest. So I would say the 1st wave would definitely be the longest, and then you're going to get a shorter 3rd wave and just as short, if not shorter, 5th wave. That's what I'm seeing in Link. Okay. Not exactly sure how that wave count is going to play out, but that's what I'm seeing in Link. Let's just go back. Yeah, hey, cool. Yep, I'm glad you've gotten profit on your shorts. It's all about not hoping and wishing the market give you this or that, but just trading what's in front of you. And yeah, we've been getting dumped on, so might as well trade it for profit. Oh, looks like we're breaking down. Okay, so not breaking down completely. Let's see. So yeah, it looks like this impulse is some sort of, you know what? This looks like whatever was some sort of A wave. Actually, this looks like the A wave. This looks like the B wave. Okay. So that's what it looks like, rather than what I initially expected, 5 waves and then a 2-wave retracement, right? So, yeah. A, B. I still anticipate that C to be impulsive and take us to the top of the ranges. Yeah, that hasn't changed. I just don't see a further breakdown here as if this were some sort of 4th wave, right? But so yeah, that's what I'm seeing in the market. That's what I'm seeing in Bitcoin. My large term analysis is still the same, right? I think 58K is going to be the top of this retracement, and after that, we continue our downwards price action. But until then, I'm long 58K, and I'm long also because we're at the bottom of the range. It just wouldn't be a good idea to short support, right? This is here support, right? And there's more support here. So just probabilistically, I think the long is the way to go right here. Since right now, at this moment in time, we are at the base. We're at support. Yeah. So that's it for me. Hope this was helpful. Hope this was useful. Like the stream if you haven't yet. And, thanks, guys, for showing up. Thanks for your questions, your comments. Always appreciated. I really enjoy talking crypto with you guys on a daily basis, sharing ideas. So yeah, I'm living the dream. See you guys tomorrow morning. Hope this was helpful. Hope this was useful. Like the stream if you haven't yet. And thanks, guys, for showing up. Thanks for your questions.